Yamamoto. This is the minute. The 49ers host the Green Bay Packers tomorrow in the divisional round at Levi's Stadium. The teams are battling for a spot in the NFC Championship game. This is the 10th playoff meeting between the teams. Kickoff is at 5:15. The LA Innocence Project is taking up the Scott Peterson case. The group works to exonerate wrongfully convicted prisoners. It says it will investigate his claim of actual innocence. Peterson was convicted in 2004 for the murder of his pregnant wife, Lacey, and their unborn son. And the third suspect has been arrested in connection with the 2021 shooting death of Kevin Nishida. 29-year-old LaRon Gilbert was tracked down in Kansas City by U.S. Marshals. Authorities say Gilbert was the getaway driver the night Nishida was killed while working security for a local TV station in Oakland. The Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 9 p.m. on the all-new Pix Plus 44 Cable 12.
We kicked off this morning dry, but we have rain right around the corner heading into this afternoon as an area of low pressure builds its way in from offshore, bringing in a series of showers to last all throughout this weekend's forecast. Take a look at this. These partly cloudy skies that we woke up with this morning, they're going to be a thing of the past as heavy showers are building their way in into the lunchtime hours today, evening hours tonight. It mostly pushes up into the North Bay. Areas like Napa and Sonoma seeing some of the heaviest rain we're going to get all evening long into the early morning hours tomorrow as we gear up for that game. Well, the Santa Clara Valley is definitely going to get its splash of showers, but it's not consistent rain. I mean, take a look at this. Just pockets of showers at times as we head into that 3 o'clock hour, moving in from offshore, building more showers into the evening hours tomorrow, closer to around 6 o'clock, anywhere from Santa Rosa down into the Santa Clara Valley. Now, it clears up a little bit as we head into Sunday, but we're not done with unsettled weather just yet. Here we go all the way into Sunday evening, early Monday morning. More rain is expected to impact us here in the Bay Area, and that exact same system will impact the Sierra too. They're under a winter storm watch right now, potentially getting upgraded to that warning with the highest peaks to see anywhere up to around 1 to 3 feet of snow. Let's take it a step back and let's talk more about today though. Today, like I said, starting off dry. It's going to look a lot different into the evening commute hours tonight. Take it slow out there on the roads this evening. We're expecting upper 50s and lower 60s for our daytime highs at areas like San Francisco, all the way over into Fremont and Livermore and stretching down into the Santa Clara Valley. But watch what happens as we head into the next 7 days. We are going to continue to watch more rain build its way in as we kick off next work week. We're going to get a little bit of a break for our Tuesday forecast throughout our inland areas, and then we gear up for more showers into Wednesday. Now, I mentioned our inland areas, right? That's our forecast for the next 7 days, but along the bay, it looks very similar too. Upper 50s flirting with lower 60s heading into next week. We catch a little bit of a dry break into our Tuesday forecast as we gear up for more showers around the corner.
Well, it's almost game day, and the Niners and Packers in the divisional round tomorrow at Levi's Stadium with a spot in the NFC Championship on the line. Our Sean Chitness begins our team coverage from San Jose and shows us fans are already getting hyped for that showdown.
We've been having a great time here at Sushi Confidential. We're joined once again by the owner, Randy Musfer, or Sushi Randy. Randy, tell us what it's been like to have so many people show out and be great fans this early in the morning.
Oh yeah, the energy level has been tremendous. You never know what's going to happen at 5 a.m., but I mean, look at this. We had a full patio, and we're going to end with something fun here.
Yeah, so tell us what you came up with to really show how ready we are for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, so, we're playing Green Bay, and they're known as the Cheesehead. So let's grate some cheese and make it into a contest.
All right, so we've got some fans over here. Let's take a look at the setup here. You brought in some actual cheese, and we're going to try and cover up the team and their helmet as best as we can.
Exactly. So we're going to have a contest and see who can do this the quickest.
All right, let's go.
Go.
And how are you feeling about the game tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, doesn't this tell you? We have so much energy here. We're going to just, we're going to
grade the Cheeseheads. Yeah, baby. Niners all day, every day. Hey, Niners, Cheeseheads. Let's go 408 faithful.
Well, we've got quite a bit of cheese left to go, but they're going to keep going at it. This is a great reminder that in addition to the rally that is happening tonight here in San Jose, there will be official watch parties throughout the Bay Area, one here in San Jose, as well as in San Francisco and in Oakland. So if you can't make it to the game at Levi's, you still have great ways to be a part of the faithful and cheer on the team as they take on Green Bay. Back to you.
And it's been 3 weeks since the Niners clinched the #1 seed in the NFC, but they went to the field yesterday for their last practice to shake off any rust for tomorrow's game, and they are about as healthy as they can be coming off a bye week. The Niners enter the weekend as 9.5-point favorites. They have won the last 4 playoff meetings with Green Bay, but the Niners are not looking past the Packers, especially after they embarrassed the Cowboys in the wild card round.
You definitely don't look past opponents in the playoffs, but when you watch the tape, it makes perfect sense.
And they got our attention no matter what, honestly. You win on the road as a 7th seed against a really good Dallas team. I mean, that's enough in itself. And then the fact that they won the way that they did, our hats off to them.
This is the 10th playoff meeting between the Packers and Niners over the past 29 seasons. No other two teams have met more than 5 times in the postseason during that span. And our Niners fans are counting down until Saturday's showdown. Our Lorene Ayub catching up with fans planning to show up and show out in style.
When it comes to passion for your city, you could never have enough. At least that's what Carlos Vargas believes. The longtime 49er fan and San Francisco native headed over to the team store to snatch up some gear for this Saturday's game.
And I came here to purchase some new Niner gear so that we could win in style.
Carlos is no stranger to 49er moments. He recalls the glory days with Joe Montana and wants to provide those memories for his family. That's why he's shopping around to purchase them some gifts.
I grew up in the Mission District in San Francisco, so all my friends, we've always been Niner fans. As long as I could remember, I've never rooted for any other team. But not growing up without a father figure, I want to give my kids what I never had, which is pass on the faithfulness of being a 49er fan.
As folks like Carlos and many more fans prepare to watch the game, the NFL is coordinating watch parties all over the Bay Area. Nick Clark, the senior manager of NFL engagement, is making sure they're all worthwhile.
If you're at home thinking, you know what, I need more energy to watch this big game against the Green Bay Packers, let me head down to one of these watch parties. You can find out more information at 49ers.com/playoffs.
As for Carlos, he will be watching alongside his family and believes.
My prediction is I'm gonna have cheesecake for dessert. So I think we're gonna send the cheeseheads packing. Unfortunately, they are a good team, but they're not the 49ers.
According to Carlos and his passion for the Bay, win or lose, the Niners will always be champions.
And stay with us for continuing coverage of the Niners as we follow the team and its fans during their run in the playoffs. And still ahead on CBS News Bay Area, a veteran forced to live in his car in San Francisco after a rent hike forced him out of his home.
I'm still human, you know. I don't deserve to be treated like a child or a piece of,
His personal story about why he refuses shelter and how a looming Supreme Court decision could impact him and others on the streets. While San Francisco is filling more empty storefronts by expanding Vacant and Vibrant, how the program provides a second chance for some small businesses. And this Bay Area city once had a reputation for violence. We're going to take a look at how it turned things around.
These are the stories that inspire us.
This is where we're going to build all the bikes.
Connect us.
All right, guys.
Drive us. These are the stories that reveal our true character.
This is the most rewarding thing that I've ever done.
Told by those who believe in the power of community.
Oh my goodness!
Good to see you.
The kinds of stories you'll only see here.
Oh man!
Our stories define us.
Starting dry, but heading into the evening hours tonight, rain is making its debut once again, and that's going to last as we head into our weekend forecast as low pressure moves in from offshore. Here's what that storm system's looking like. Just into the lunchtime hours, we're starting to see some isolated heavy pockets of rain build in from offshore. Our peninsula and the North Bay is going to get hit with some consistent rain into the evening hours tonight, with drier conditions at times into the Santa Clara Valley. Now, that's important to note because the game is tomorrow. For the 49ers fans that are heading down to the Santa Clara Valley, we're going to start off tomorrow morning with just some light drizzle in the forecast at times. We see pop-up showers at times build in into that 5 o'clock hour, but then all the way into the 6, 7 o'clock hour tomorrow night, that's when it starts to get a little bit more consistent. It dries up for a little bit into Sunday with more unsettled weather into Sunday evening.
Well, on any given day, there are more than 4,000 people living on the streets or in their cars in San Francisco, and now the city is fighting for its right to clear those encampments. It's an issue that's now set to be taken up by the nation's highest court. Our Kenny Choi gives us a personal look at who the Supreme Court's decision could directly impact.
Kurt Shruptrine has been living in a car on the outskirts of an industrial part of Hunters Point. The city of San Francisco is clearing an encampment of trailers and cars for the second time in a month.
I'm still human, you know? Still human. I still have rights. I don't do people wrong. You know, I don't deserve to be treated like a child or a piece of you know.
He lived in Richmond for 8 years until he couldn't afford a rent hike. The veteran says he looked for shelter in San Francisco, but was then told it wasn't available when he tried to check in. He also says his cash was stolen when he finally accepted temporary shelter in a congregate setting.
I've had nothing but bad experiences with their tribes.
Shruptrine refuses now when city workers approach him. So does Thomas Welch.
They've offered shelters. I'm not interested in a shelter.
Nearby businesses on Finch Street have been complaining of worsening conditions to the city for more than a year.
It's very stressful. Our employees don't want to come at night anymore. They don't want to work on the weekends because we don't feel safe.
You can't control everybody that rolls through and all that, but you know, for those, there are some of us who do try.
City officials say a court-ordered injunction barring anti-camping ordinances and mostly upheld recently by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has made addressing homelessness more difficult.
They basically punted an ultimate decision, and from our perspective, that has not been helpful because we are dealing with the complexity of these issues on the streets every day.
Under the injunction, city workers can clear encampments, but the homeless are allowed to come right back as soon as the streets are clean. City Attorney of San Francisco David Chu believes a favorable U.S. Supreme Court ruling could make a difference.
What would change on the streets?
I think it would have made it easier for us to continue to offering services and shelter, and to individuals who reject those offers to be able to say to them, you're going to need to move on, or else we are going to be enforcing laws against you.
Like citations and arrests?
Exactly.
Homeless advocates say the city is shifting blame for their own policy failures by pointing the finger at lawsuits and the homeless.
Could be that, you know, the Supreme Court says that you can punish people for being who they are. You can punish them for being homeless. You can punish them for being mentally ill, and so forth, and put them in jail. And we hope that's not the case.
Jennifer Friedenbach is the executive director of the nonprofit Coalition on Homelessness. Recently released city data shows a 22% increase in people connected to shelter or housing over the last year.
When we force the city to be more thoughtful, to think about the needs of homeless people instead of just moving them from block to block, we saw more people getting out of those encampments and into shelter or housing.
People like Thomas Welch and Kurt Shruptrine are simply living day to day.
I'm not out here because I want to be out here.
As the legal challenges about the constitutionality of criminalizing homelessness escalate through the courts.
I don't know. Maybe we might come right back here. Who knows? You know, because that's what happened last time.
It's a revolving door. Both sides are hoping to slow down.
A ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court on whether homeless sweeps are legal is expected by the end of June. Yesterday, the city requested to pause another ongoing case over the injunction until then to avoid wasting public funds on legal fees. In Oakland, all 4 suspects in the killing of police officer Tuan Le pleaded not guilty. These are images from inside the courtroom yesterday. Our cameras were not allowed to take video. Marquise Cooper, Mark Sanders, and Alan Brown have all been charged with murder. The 4th man, Sabron Ray Russell, is charged with second-degree burglary. Officer Le was shot and killed last month while responding to a break-in at a cannabis business. San Francisco's Vacant to Vibrant program is celebrating success. 8 out of the 9 pop-up storefronts that opened last October have been invited to stay at least through March. That Vacant and Vibrant program is the city's effort to revitalize its downtown by boosting foot traffic for small businesses that struggle to rebound since the pandemic. Our Jose Martinez spoke with one business owner who says the program has given her an opportunity to showcase her culture through her food.
I'm here at the Embarcadero Center, and this is Taranga, one of several small businesses benefiting from the city's Vacant to Vibrant program. It's a dream come true for Chef Nafi Flatley.
I'm really grateful to be part of the program, just because this is another opportunity for me to showcase my culture instead of just doing catering, but people can actually walk in.
She owns Taranga, an African restaurant located at 4 Embarcadero Center, one of several small businesses benefiting from the city's Vacant to Vibrant program.
People are starting to warm up to us because this place was closed for a very, very long time. And then so now that they see that there is life in here, they see music, and then or they hear music or they see lights in here, so they are very curious to see what's in here.
Chef Nafi tells me that once the program was launched last year in April, she decided to apply right after having to close her restaurant located at La Cocina Municipal Market in the Tenderloin.
The city, the program has paid utilities and then to the property owners, so we don't even have to pay that. So we're not paying rent, we're not paying utilities. All we need to do is just reactivate the place, see what suits our business plan, and make those different items work for us. Like there was no oven, there was no stove, there was a lot of things that weren't here at the beginning, so we had to make those things, activate them, make them work.
So she's excited to see that the city is already receiving applications for a second round of businesses. The goal is to reactivate the downtown area through these 3-month pop-ups that can be extended for 3 more months.
I wanted to see how it's going to work in the early spring, because with this, you can see people are going to be coming. It's going to be less cold, less rain, and people will be wanting to go out a little bit more to go eat.
Like I did, and it was delicious and fun, and that's what she says she wants out of this experience.
One meal at a time, one Senegalese meal at a time to introduce the Teranga way of life.
And the chef tells me she's planning on extending her time here for at least 3 more months, so you still have time to come visit her.
And the Vacant and Vibrant program is accepting applications for the next group of pop-up shops. The deadline to apply is February 23rd. A San Francisco startup is working to bring your commute out onto the bay with hovering water taxis. Navier is launching a pilot program in March. It will shuttle employees of the tech company Stripe from Marin to South San Francisco. Navier says that its all-electric boats offer environmental benefits as well as convenience. If the pilot program goes well, the company hopes to open more routes. BART has a new fleet working its way into the transit system, and the project is coming under budget. The agency says that BART's new fleet of the future cars are expected to cost nearly $400 million less than they originally planned.
One is speeding up the schedule for getting these cars manufactured and on BART property. And the other is the fact that we brought in a lot of the engineering work into BART rather than relying on outside consultants. It's a $400 million savings, and this is a capital project, which is not our day-to-day expenses. So this money, yes, will be used for other projects to improve the system long term.
Allison says winning back riders is the ultimate goal. He hopes these new modernized train cars will help.
We need to convince the Bay Area that we are the safest way to get around the Bay Area, and we need to have a clean, comfortable experience for people. So having these new train cars and just a more modern feel is all part of that effort to win back riders.
BART expects the project to be complete by the end of the year. And the city of Richmond just reported its lowest homicide rate in decades. It's a remarkable turnaround for the city once dubbed a murder capital of America. There were only 8 homicides in Richmond for 2023, and the numbers have been dropping consistently since 1971. You may be asking how or why. Well, we met a Richmond man who was once behind bars for committing murder. And as Dre Nakano reports, he may be a part of that answer.
James Houston is a Richmond native who knows all about how life can change in a matter of seconds. In 1996, he shot and killed a man while trying to break up an argument. He was convicted of second-degree murder with a sentence of 18 years to life. Now a free man with a college degree he earned behind bars, he's getting a chance to save a piece of himself and save others as the program manager at Richmond's Office of Neighborhood Safety.
Seeing myself in so many of the young people, pushing people away when I really wanted them to, come closer to me, but having to see if you really love me or care for me enough to fight for me.
Each ONS employee checks in each day with kids on a list of at-risk youth. Those who stay out of trouble get an allowance.
It's hard to focus on doing the right thing when I'm not eating, or my little brother or my little sister's not eating. So if you're able to really support them to where they don't have to go out and break in cars or sell drugs or other things to get money, then they can relax and be a kid and do the things they need to do so they can have a future.
While crime rates go up and down in waves, ONS is credited for making a difference in the community. But Houston says the program is working because of the kids.
My props to the young men and women in Richmond who chose to do something different, who were willing to step out on a limb and accept support.
There are currently 130 youth in the program. Houston says investing in different ways to set up kids for success is key.
I seen the change it did for me. I see the change it does for young people. But even if you don't have an ONS and you may not be able to get one, start doing your one man show or one woman show. Start doing it start reaching out to the young people.
And still ahead, is it really healthier to go vegan? The findings from a Stanford experiment involving identical twins.
They made really significant changes in a number of nutrients.
It was challenging, just as I had expected.
And a reminder, you can stream CBS News Bay Area wherever, whenever. Catch all of our live newscasts, plus news and weather updates throughout the day. Find us on the free CBS News app or on Pluto TV.
This is Pix Plus. More of what you want, more often. More local news in the morning and the primetime edition. The only 8 and 9 p.m. news. With Devin Peely, Elizabeth Cook, Juliette Goodrich, and Sarah Donchi. Groundbreaking original storytelling from the KPIX newsroom. Plus Bear Politics, Project Earth, and weather like you've never seen. The primetime edition. Weeknights on the new Pix Plus. 44 Cable 12.
Bay Area today, we're waking up to cloudy skies and rainy conditions into this afternoon. A big change in the forecast heading into our lunchtime hours today. We have showers moving in from offshore, and that'll be the trend for us heading into this weekend with some heavy rain all throughout Saturday and Sunday at times, lasting into next work week too. Our daytime highs today mostly sitting in the upper 50s and lower 60s throughout the Bay Area. Let's time out this storm for us because, like I mentioned, we're starting off dry, so the morning commute's not a big issue. It's not until the evening where we start seeing that band of showers really build in from offshore. It starts along our coastline around 2-3 o'clock, and then watch what happens as we head all the way into the evening hours, really pushing up into the North Bay with some heavy rain consistently into the evening hours tonight. We catch a little bit of a break tomorrow morning, but the Santa Clara Valley, we're keeping all eyes on you just in time for that game. As we head into the evening hours tomorrow, we're going to actually start seeing some heavier showers build just into that 6-7 o'clock hour tomorrow night.
Well, you've heard the saying, you are what you eat. Now, a new Stanford study is putting that to the test by looking at differences between eating meat and going plant-based. Researchers focus on identical twins. Elizabeth Cook tells us what they discovered.
Rosalind Morehouse and Carolyn Sadeko sacrificed their diets for research.
My uniqueness is tethered to the fact that there's someone else who is genetically the same as me.
They were just one set of 22 identical twins who Stanford researchers studied for 8 weeks, comparing vegan and omnivore diets. Carolyn was randomly selected as the vegan.
It was challenging, just as I had expected.
Both diets were healthy, full of vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and void of starches and refined sugars. The vegan diet had no animal products. The omnivore included chicken, fish, eggs, cheese, dairy, and other animal-sourced food.
They made really significant changes in a number of nutrients, a number of foods, even the omnivores.
Christopher Gardner is a nutrition scientist at Stanford University and the lead author of the study. He found vegan eaters saw the most improvement to their cardiovascular health.
That the LDL cholesterol dropped by 14 milligrams per deciliter, which was more than a 10% drop. They didn't have high insulin levels to begin with, but they dropped in the vegan group, and they lost a little bit of weight.
Carolyn and Rosalind say both diets helped change their eating habits.
I feel even more empowered to say, of all these things I can choose, I'm going to choose the healthier option or the plant-forward option.
Gardner says even a nudge in the plant-based direction can improve health.
And the study was documented in a Netflix series called You Are What You Eat, a Twin Experiment. Coming up our next half hour in CBS News Bay Area, it's been a long time coming. Fresh crab is back in the Bay Area, and it's crunch time for all the fishermen who've gone without a paycheck for months. We're out on the water with a crew bringing in the first catch. Plus, an important population that helps pollinate our foods is on the decline. How a volunteer project is giving bees an opportunity to thrive.
These are your neighborhoods. This is your world. CBS News Bay Area.
Still ahead on KPI.
With Juliette Goodrich. And the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. Taking you to the day's top stories. Smart, comprehensive coverage. And immersive weather like you have never seen it. Join Juliette Goodrich and Nora O'Donnell. Weeknight 6 to 7:30 on KPIX.
Yamamoto, this is The Minute. All 4 suspects in the killing of Oakland police officer Twan Lay pleaded not guilty. Marquise Cooper, Mark Sanders, and Alan Brown have all been charged with murder. The 4th man, Sabron Ray Russell, is charged with second-degree burglary. Westfield Mall in San Francisco is losing another tenant. Madewell announced it's closing on Monday. This marks the mall's 5th closure this month. Westfield already lost its anchor tenant, Nordstrom, and its value reportedly plunged by nearly $1 billion since 2016. City of Richmond recorded 8 homicides last year. That is the lowest number for the city since it started keeping track in 1971. It's been on the decline for years now. There were 22 homicides in 2020, 18 in 2021 and 22. The Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 8 and 9 p.m. on the all-new Pix Plus 44 Cable 12.
We kicked off this morning dry, but we have rain right around the corner heading into this afternoon as an area of low pressure builds its way in from offshore, bringing in a series of showers to last all throughout this weekend's forecast. Take a look at this. These partly cloudy skies that we woke up with this morning, they're going to be a thing of the past as heavy showers are building their way in into the lunchtime hours today, evening hours tonight. It mostly pushes up into the North Bay. Areas like Napa and Sonoma seeing some of the heaviest rain we're going to get all evening long into the early morning hours tomorrow as we gear up for that game. Well, the Santa Clara Valley is definitely going to get its splash of showers, but it's not consistent rain. I mean, take a look at this. Just pockets of showers at times as we head into that 3 o'clock hour, moving in from offshore, building more showers into the evening hours tomorrow, closer to around 6 o'clock, anywhere from Santa Rosa down into the Santa Clara Valley. Now, it clears up a little bit as we head into Sunday, but we're not done with unsettled weather just yet. Here we go all the way into Sunday evening, early Monday morning. More rain is expected to impact us here in the Bay Area, and that exact same system will impact the Sierra too. They're under a winter storm watch right now, potentially getting upgraded to that warning with the highest peaks to see anywhere up to around 1 to 3 feet of snow. Let's take it a step back and let's talk more about today though. Today, like I said, starting off dry. It's going to look a lot different into the evening commute hours tonight. Take it slow out there on the roads this evening. We're expecting upper 50s and lower 60s for our daytime highs in areas like San Francisco, all the way over into Fremont and Livermore and stretching down into the Santa Clara Valley. But watch what happens as we head into the next 7 days. We are going to continue to watch more rain build its way in as we kick off next work week. We're going to get a little bit of a break for our Tuesday forecast throughout our inland areas, and then we gear up for more showers into Wednesday. Now, I mentioned our inland areas, right? That's our forecast for the next 7 days, but along the bay, it looks very similar too. Upper 50s flirting with lower 60s heading into next week. We catch a little bit of a dry break into our Tuesday forecast as we gear up for more showers around the corner.
Well, fresh crab is finally back on the menu in the Bay Area, and crab fishermen are back in business after the longest delay yet to the season. Crabbers waited 2 months to begin dipping their nets into the sea. The project aimed to protect migrating whales from getting caught in fishing lines.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Well, yesterday, some people in San Francisco went to piers 45 and 47 to buy their Dungeness crab straight off the boat. Now, fishermen are hoping to make up for all that lost time the delay cost them. Our Kenny Choi hopped on a boat and spent more than 18 hours with the crew to bring us a taste of the first catch.
Deckhand Jonathan Tin has been waiting patiently to get to work and bring home a paycheck he hasn't seen in months.
We started rigging the gear in October, and we're really excited to see what's in these crab pots.
The San Francisco native has been working as a commercial fisherman for 7 years after getting hooked during a summer in college.
I love everything about it. I love being out here in the ocean. I love working hard. I love running the gear. It's just the harder you work, the more money you're gonna make.
Just after midnight early Thursday morning, they start running the pots.
All of our gear, all these dots, if I zoom in, every single one of those is a crab pot. And these are the traffic lanes, and we try to stay out of there so we don't lose our gear.
It's been rocky conditions for more than 11 hours because of rough weather and strong waves. They're now hauling in the last of 225 crab pots.
It doesn't look like it's quite as much as we thought was going to be here. Still probably better than average.
We're just moving them a little bit. Put them on new ground, so theoretically there's crab that hasn't been caught here yet.
They'll bring home some 13,000 pounds of crab, shy of what they were hoping for, but still worth the pain and hard work.
Can't wait for a nap. All night.
I'm sleep deprived. I'm tired, sore. I'd like to see this again tomorrow or the next time we go through the gear, probably tonight. Hopefully it'll last.
Jonathan and the crew of the Pale Horse will soon be heading back out with no break. Time is ticking until the harvest dwindles quickly.
And Captain Little predicts in 2 to 3 weeks their catch will drastically decrease to about 2,500 pounds per trip. State restrictions limit each fleet to 50% of their permit capacity. Well, Stowe Lake in San Francisco's Golden Gate Park has a new name. It's now known as Blue Heron Lake. The city's Recs and Parks Department made the decision after the Board of Supervisors brought up concerns over the anti-Semitic and xenophobic views of former State Assembly member William Stowe, who the lake was named after. The department says Blue Heron Lake was the most popular community suggestion, as blue herons are known to make their nests on the lake's Strawberry Hill. There's an extraordinary effort happening in the northwest part of Contra Costa County. It is where some of the most important creatures on Earth are getting some much-needed help. In today's Project Earth, we look at a group of volunteers who are creating new opportunities for the creatures that pollinate our foods and help them thrive. Our Ann McAvick reports.
Bees, butterflies, even the birds, they all help to pollinate our plants and food. But these tiny creatures are losing an important battle, the one to survive. Around the world, their populations are falling.
Pollinators are in trouble.
Former director of the U.S. National Park Service, John Jarvis. He explains how urban sprawl, pesticide use, and the spread of non-native species are among the likely culprits. But so too is climate change.
You know, a lot of species are local. I mean, there are species that can migrate, but a lot of species, they live here, they live out their entire lives in this environment. And so they can't move as it gets hotter and drier. So we have to help.
That help is now taking root along the gently rolling hills in the upper Pinole Creek watershed.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Jarvis and dozens of other Bay Area volunteers are busy getting their hands dirty.
That's about a good spot.
Meet the Friends of the Pinole Creek watershed, as well as the Earth team from Pinole Valley High School.
We're starting now so it doesn't get worse in the future. It's a great chance to get in the outdoors and go make change.
They've gathered to plant 180 pollinator plants, native grasses, and creek-friendly trees. The goal is to restore the habitat and give pollinators, especially monarch butterflies, a place to rest and reproduce.
So today we're putting in golden top, lots of milkweed, which is the larval plant for monarch butterflies. We've got deer grass, we've got mule fat, we've got coyote brush.
Volunteer Carol Bray says all this work is for future generations.
Everything we do is going to impact the health of the area, the health of the creek, and ultimately the health of us.
It is a grassroots effort. Nobody gets paid, but they work hard to scrape up funding. This project is sponsored in part by the nonprofit Xerces Society.
Yes, the situation is dire, but also there are a lot of people who are working really hard to make the situation better.
Emma Kuzi is with the Contra Costa Resource Conservation District. She says this pollinator project might inspire us all to take action.
It's important wherever you are, if there's a little bit of land, to steward that land and make habitat for, bees and bugs and anything else.
Once we get some rain on it.
As for Jarvis, he says the project is not only good for the health of our pollinators.
Nature is good for your health. Being out in nature can be an antidote to everything from depression to heart disease to obesity.
An opportunity for all of us to thrive.
Up next, 49ers star tight end George Kittle more than ready for tomorrow's game at Levi's, and he's got even more support at home. The one family member who you might call a good luck charm.
Your late night is getting a whole lot better for two reasons. Sarah and Stephen. The Late News with Sarah Donchie. And The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Back with all new episodes.
Really?
These are two shows you'll want to spend the night with.
Then go to sleep knowing you won at TV. What?
Record it, stream it, watch it live. The Late News and the all-new Late Show. Weeknights starting at 11 on KPIX.
To the Santa Clara Valley. Hours at times build into that 5 o'clock hour, but then all the way into the 6, 7 o'clock hour tomorrow night. That's when it starts to get a little bit more consistent. It dries up for a little bit into Sunday with more unsettled weather into Sunday evening.
Well, tomorrow the Niners and Packers face off against each other for that playoff run on the field. And the Niners have a special good luck charm that's downright charming. Our sports director Vern Glenn explains.
This is the Volkswagen Red and Gold Report.
The 49ers have been counting down the hours till Saturday night when the Packers visit Levi's Stadium for a spot in the NFC Championship. And the Niners have had plenty of rest. It's been nearly 3 weeks since they played a game of consequence. But now, it's go time. Now, George Kittle is one of those that sat out the regular season finale against the Rams. With that time off, he's been keeping up with his 101-year-old grandmother, Lucky, who celebrated her 100th birthday at Levi's Stadium last season. Lucky won't make it on Saturday, but she'll still be able to wish her grandson luck with a text message.
She was in Arizona for our game against the Cardinals. I don't know. I don't think she's coming to this game. Who knows, if the Niners faithful want her back, we'll figure out something. She always shoots me a text. She's like, hey, good job. She watches every game. So just the fact that, I have a 101-year-old grandma who still watches everything that I do, it's pretty special.
Whoa. And texted. She gets texted 101?
She just stopped driving like a year ago, so things you can do in small town Iowa, guys. It's a little bit different than here.
With a Red and Gold Report, I'm Vern Glenn.
And if you don't quite believe the Niners will take the W, we have a math magician to break down the odds of the team making it to the Super Bowl. His name is Mr. Orozco, and he's an Antioch math teacher. We've seen him before, rapping about math. And get this, at the beginning of the preseason, Mr. Orozco laid out his mathematical game plan for the Niners making it to the Super Bowl. Take a listen.
When a ball is thrown, that's a parabola. That is math. So we could graph this out. We could figure out the velocity of it, the angle it needs to be thrown. That's all math. That's why they need me. They don't know that yet. So they have the math teacher there. That's 60%. We could do some quick math. We do all this. They have a 110% chance of making it to the Super Bowl.
Math looks good. Coming up, she's considered a Chinatown icon and she's celebrating a milestone. A woman called Polka Dot shares some of the stories from her 90 trips around the sun.
I would like to see the headlines that the national press picks up on and say, look, there's another side to the Bay Area.
We take those headlines a little step further to sort of connect all these wonderful communities here.
Really embracing the positivity and hopefully spreading it.
The Bay Area is full of some amazing, innovative change makers.
People that are out there making a difference.
In fact, I feel privileged that I get to share those stories.
Wake up with the Morning Edition, weekdays on KPIX.
Throughout the Bay Area today, we're waking up to cloudy skies and rainy conditions into this afternoon. A big change in the forecast heading into our lunchtime hours today. We have showers moving in from offshore, and that'll be the trend for us heading into this weekend with some heavy rain all throughout Saturday and Sunday at times, lasting into next work week too. Our daytime highs today mostly sitting in the upper 50s and lower 60s throughout the Bay Area. Let's time out this storm for us because, like I mentioned, we're starting off dry, so the morning commute's not a big issue. It's not until the evening where we start seeing that band of showers really build in from offshore. It starts along our coastline around 2-3 o'clock, and then watch what happens as we head all the way into the evening hours, really pushing up into the North Bay with some heavy rain consistently into the evening hours tonight. We catch a little bit of a break tomorrow morning, but the Santa Clara Valley, we're keeping all eyes on you just in time for that game. As we head into the evening hours tomorrow, we're going to actually start seeing some heavier showers build just into that 6-7 o'clock hour tomorrow night.
Well, a woman who became a fashion icon in her 80s has become the talk of San Francisco's Chinatown. And as our Kelsey Thord found out at her 90th birthday party yesterday, the woman they call Polka Dot plans to keep standing out from the crowd for years to come.
All of these people showed up for one person. Her name is Dorothy, but to many, she is better known as Polka Dot. This year she's turning 90, and her friends thought what better way to celebrate than a party for the woman who has become a San Francisco icon and a fashion influencer in recent years.
There she is, Dorothy.
When Dorothy Polka Dot Kwok walks into a room, you notice.
This would be sort of my winter outfit.
I love it.
And there's still 2 more pieces to it.
This room is an extra special one, just for Dorothy. It's packed with people here to celebrate her 90th birthday, some traveling across the country just to be here.
I guess I'm a social animal, as they say.
Dorothy was born and raised in San Francisco's Chinatown. She says she got her nickname from a boss she had as a teenager who had 2 Dorothys on his staff.
So then he finally said, okay, you're Polka Dot and she's Giant Dot. And so that's how it got started.
I feel like you got the better of the 2 options there. I don't know if I would want to be called Giant Dot. Dorothy says for most of her life, she lived relatively traditionally. She got married, moved to Livermore, and became a mother. But then in her 60s, she got divorced, moved back to the city, and quickly started to gain a following.
She is a community treasure, a human unicorn, and we absolutely love her.
Dorothy spent years giving walking tours around Chinatown. She met people from around the world. And in 2014, filmmaker James Q. Chan brought her on to research a movie he was working on about the historic neighborhood.
And when she spends time with you, it is everything else falls away, and you are the most important thing.
From there, Dorothy launched into the world of San Francisco's art and fashion scene. She was photographed for a book showcasing stylish seniors in the city, and in 2022 became a model for designer Victor Tung.
I was a live model walking around with him.
How cool was that?
Yeah, I know.
Dorothy says the whole thing has been a bit of a roller coaster, but she's so proud to have created such community.
Community helped me be who and what I am.
So now, for her 90th birthday, all she wants to do is celebrate that.
They all want to wish you happy birthday. We love you. Happy birthday.
Now, Dorothy told me that when she turned 80, she went on a months-long trip around the world. I asked her, is she going to try and up that for her 90th? And she told me she's planning to stay right here in San Francisco, which I don't blame her.
Definitely is a unicorn. Okay, now for a look at some of today's most talked about stories. A dramatic rescue in Ukraine after soldiers rescued a bear in the midst of the war with Russia. This is Yampul, the Asiatic bear. He was rescued from a Ukrainian zoo and has found a new home in Scotland. Yampul was skin and bones when he was taken to Belgium to recuperate. He's now a healthy 440 pounds and has been getting some sweet treats in his new surroundings. And the world's largest cruise ship is just days away from its maiden voyage. The icon of the seas has been described as a floating city. Look at this thing. It's almost as long as the Empire State Building. It's tall. It has room for 7,600 passengers, 20 decks, 7 pools, theaters, a casino, and more than 40 places to eat and drink. Icon of the Seas sets sails on January 27th. Royal fans are getting a glimpse of inside the royal residence like never before. Windsor Castle is lifting the lid on Queen Mary's dollhouse to celebrate its 100th anniversary. It features a miniature grand piano and, of course, the crown jewels. The royal replica was built in the 1920s when King George V wanted it for his wife. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. Brian Yamamoto will be right back with the First Alert forecast and a look at your top stories.